Right now, we're going to go into questions, and we have some fantastic questions. I'm going to address it to specific panel members. And then if any of you would like to pitch in, briefly do so. First, to Mitch. Mitch, something in my mind that came about is one of the questions from the audience, from the layman's perspective. Why in the free market capitalistic society would I want the government to come in and save some of the worst decision-making in our history, and to do it by borrowing ultimately from China or other sovereign wealth funds? And to paraphrase, if I make a bad decision in the business field, I don't have that option. Why should we give that to the government to do so?
I think the real issue that we're dealing with right here, and one of the reasons why you had such an enormous groundswell of opposition to this bailout, we need to separate the desire to punish the people that made these bad decisions and saddled us with this debt from the reality, as we've shown in the graphs really throughout the presenters here, that the credit markets and the capital markets aren't functioning right now. Okay, I need to get that lending process going again. So let's try and separate those two situations. Deal with the fact that, okay, I want to make sure these executives aren't getting, $25 million pay packages. Let's make them pay for this, but let's get the credit process going again. The key thing is here, and every single member of the panel, as we were talking about this, agreed on it, this is not a bailout. Okay? This is not a bailout. A bailout is if the federal government comes in and gives $700 billion to Wall Street so they can basically buy the securities back at 100 cents on the dollar. That's not what this is about. I mean, the marketing, somebody at the Harvard Business School is going to go back and look at the worst marketing job ever done, and my vote would be the bailout. It's not a bailout. What we have is, remember when we've got the banks with $550 billion in losses with these securities, where they've written them down, they need to get those off their books. They need to have someone buy those securities. Think about it like this. The federal government is going to be a vulture fund. And what a vulture fund is a fund that comes in and buys distressed assets and then can sit on them for a while and make money when the prices of those assets appreciates. Now, the way this fund is going to work is we've got this massive deleveraging going on where everybody has these assets, $550 billion of losses on their books, okay? They want to move these. They want to sell them. They want to get cash in so they can start repairing their balance sheets, start lending again. But there's no one on the other side to buy them. The federal government can come in and basically say, okay, you've got them marked at 22 cents on the dollar, 40 cents on the dollar, I'll pay you 60 cents on the dollar. The guy says, thank God. I can finally see a bid I can buy. Boom, give them. They're actually worth 80, 90 cents on the dollar. Now, maybe some of them are worth 10 cents, but the vast majority of homeowners are, and here's a, kind of a breaking news story, still paying their mortgages, okay? Subprime mortgages only represent about 9% of outstanding mortgages, and actually most of the subprime mortgage holders are actually still paying their mortgages off as well. So the federal government's got an opportunity here to basically buy the stuff back, inject liquidity in the system, begin to get some confidence in the system going, and then as the confidence in the economy recovers, all of a sudden the value of these assets will begin to come back. And I'm not saying they're coming back to par, but if you bought them for 60 cents, the reality is you'll probably sell them for 80 or 90 cents. And you could actually see money being returned back to the Treasury from this program because it's a money-making program. Look at AIG. The federal government is going to make money hand over fist on AIG. They're getting a loan at 11%, folks. 8% over LIBOR. LIBOR's running about 3%. They're going to get 11% from AIG. They basically got a lot of great insurance companies there, valuable assets that they will be able to sell basically as the market recovers and make money on this thing. AIG is going to be a big money maker for the Treasury Department. So that's the way we have to approach this. Not from the idea it's a bailout. Look at a standpoint. We've got a money-making opportunity here as U.S. taxpayers. Let's take advantage of it.
Can I add on one thing? Remember the slide that I gave you that my assistant put up? I said, well, once you're done, and because she had all the math in front of her that actually made these things that he's talking about mathematically work. and now that they're selling at a discount, you'd have to have, in most cases, better than a 70% default rate at a 50% severity. 50% severity would be if you had a $300,000 mortgage and you defaulted, and the bank sold the property at $150,000. That's the severity. So I said, how'd you feel after you did this? She said, I was really angry. Now, how many in the audience have felt anger? Come on. We all have. And so the Washington, inside their little circle, they pretty much don't like each other. They've received tens of thousands of phone calls from angry citizens. So what Mitch has said is really critical. This is a place in which you've got to have an institution that has a long-term time horizon to step in and over time start realizing the potential out of all of these assets. We know in this room there are people who own businesses that are making money. We know that. And so these banks are making money. We just have to be in a position where we take this anger factor out, and I just used my assistant as an example. She was not happy. Thank you.
Thank you. We have lots of very good questions, so we'll have an opportunity at the end to ask some follow-up questions to it.